What I'm going to be working on today is the radiator flush on my 2004 Nissan Sentra. Hey YouTubers, running here in my bar channel. We're either building it, assembling it, repairing it, or just replacing it. What I want to show you today is my 2004 Nissan Sentra, where I changed the radiator fluid about a year and a half ago, and I just went to check the other day what the fluid level looks like, and this is what I see. Look at this. It looks like red mud. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a flush and clean it out. So a complete radiator flush. So I got this Prestone clean and flush for the radiator, and for a quick flush it says just drain, fill with water, and add this content to it. For a deep flush, what you need to do is run the car for about 4 to 6 hours for a couple of days. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just drain and run the engine and try to see how much I can get that cleaned out. Now on this vehicle here is a drain lever. This is the right side of the engine that has a knob that you can just turn. This one feels a little bit tight, so I will have to get a plier. And this is the knob right here. So now that I got the drain valve open, I'm going to go ahead and drain all the coolant out. You want to open the top of the radiator to facilitate a faster drain. While that's draining from the bottom, I'm going to put water from the top. You want to be careful when you open this drain. If you unscrew it too much, you'll make this piece pop out, and this is the drain cock. So you want to just make sure you just loosen it a little bit. Once I add the water, I'm going to add this radiator flush and then top it off with some more water. Once it's topped off, I'm going to go ahead and close back the top of the radiator, and then I'm going to fire up the engine, let it just keeps running. What I've got here is a radiator service kit. It's also called a spill-proof funnel, but it's specifically for radiator. And it's got a bunch of different attachments to adapt to many different radiator. And you'll see how this is used because it facilitates getting all the trapped air out of the radiator itself. So once I find the correct connection, I'm going to put this funnel on, and I'm going to kind of burp the radiator, just getting all the excess trapped air that's sitting somewhere in the evaporator out. Now to do this process, you want to fill the funnel till about halfway and start the car up and put the heat on high and let it just circulate, and you just watch this fluid go up and down in this funnel until all the trapped air just bubbles right out. Now let me try to get you a different view of the radiator, a bird's eye view, so you can just see how this trapped air gets bubbled and just comes right out. Here is the bird's eye view of the funnel system that I have to get the trapped air out. Once I'm satisfied that enough air is coming out, I'm going to let this car run. I'm going to drive it around a little bit for, just a few days. Put a couple of hours on it, and once that's done, then I'm going to come back and drain this fluid out. Now it's been a couple of days and I've ran the car a little bit. So what's gonna happen now is that I'm gonna go back in and just drain the radiator fluid out once the engine is cooled down. So there I am draining it out. You can look at the color of the coolant that's coming out. And actually it's not coolant, it's just the water mixed with that radiator flush. So you can see the color, and once it's draining, I'm going to start adding more water from the top until this comes out clear. You can see how rusty and dirty it's coming out. So I'll continue to add water until I see some clarity on this water in the bottom. Now that I'm seeing the water coming out clear, I'm going to go ahead and just let the radiator completely drain out. Once it's drained out, I'm going to close the drain valve back. And once it's closed back, I'm going to start adding my coolant. Now it's probably better if you buy the coolant that's already mixed 50-50 and the coolant that's for all make, all models, any year. That way you don't have to deal with the headache of mixing the coolant. In this case, I kind of average it out for, you know, a 60-40 mix, because there's a recommendation mix. You can't add pure coolant to the vehicle and you can't over mix it. That way it doesn't do damage to the radiator or the engine. So you probably want to just buy the already mixed coolant. Now check this out, guys. As I start up the engine and the coolant starts to flow, look what happens to the color of this coolant. It starts to turn that rusty old nasty brown look, which means that even though I drove this car around a little bit, it wasn't completely clean. And as you can see, the funnel, the fluid on the funnel is getting higher and higher, because the trapped air is pushing that fluid up. All of a sudden you'll probably see that the fluid will just drop, and I'll just keep adding some more water. So I'm just gonna refill the funnel until all the water goes into the radiator and the funnel is filled about halfway. Once it's filled about halfway, I'm gonna just let it go, repeat the cycle to get all that trapped air out. Trust me, you will know when the trapped air comes out, because the heater will be blowing really hot. Now pay close attention to this funnel, how it's bubbling. That bubbling you see is not really hot coolant. It's trapped air that's in the system, and because the air is heated up, it needs somewhere to go, so it just passes through the fluid and just comes right out. And you see how much the water dropped, and that funnel is not a small funnel. As you can see earlier in the video, this was a big funnel, so it's a lot of fluid that's going back down into the radiator. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna monitor it and see how much more air is gonna come out of the system. So I'm gonna just let it run and watch the fluid level rise and drop. When it's all said and done, I'm gonna just top up this fluid and cap it off. This is what you call burping your radiator, to get all the excess trapped air that's in the radiator out. If not, your temperature gauge will be crazy when you're driving if you don't burp your radiator. I know I'm probably gonna have to repeat this process again in about 6 to 8 months. Coolants are cheap, but I don't like all that corrosion that's or that rusty look that's sitting in my radiator. So I'm gonna repeat this process. I'm not gonna make a second video so I can just finish the job quick. So like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be updated in future video. Enjoy the rest of the video and stay tuned for more videos to come. Have a good one. Peace out.